Welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things regarding anxiety and our mental health. So many of us know how anxiety actually feels, but do we actually know what anxiety is? Now, anxiety has become such a common phrase in our fast-paced lives. We all seem to know somebody struggling with anxiety, and we all know it's on the rise. The increase in diagnosed anxiety disorders may be the result of our increasing lifestyle commitments and work pressures, as well as a reflection of our worries regarding the uncertain world that we now live in and constant social media comparisons. The Mental Health Foundation reports that anxiety affects 1 in 4 of us in any given year, and it's most prevalent in 16 to 24-year-olds, and it affects more women than men. However, while these statistics are shockingly high, they still only cover the people that seek professional help, and I know many more people suffer in silence. But before we jump in and discuss what anxiety really is, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button so you're notified of new videos every time I produce more content. So what is anxiety really? Well, it's an emotion we experience when we are worried, tense, nervous, afraid, particularly about something that is about to happen or that we think could happen in the future. It's a completely natural human response when we perceive that we are under threat and in danger, and it's evolutionary. In fact, we wouldn't even have survived as a species without it. So, anxiety can be experienced through our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviours, and our physical sensations, and it exists to keep us safe and focused on the things that are important to us. It serves a purpose. Therefore, if we feel anxious about an upcoming job interview and it's important to us and it's going to make sense because we want to stay focused and we want the job. Likewise, if we're anxious about taking a driving test or an exam, for example, that makes sense too, because assuming that we want to stay focused and we want to pass, we want to have that heightened alertness. What about if we feel anxious about speaking in public? Well, that makes sense, assuming that we want to stay focused and we want to do a good performance. It means it's important to us. So this is when anxiety can be our friend as it helps us perform at our best. In fact, many athletes and performers, they embrace their anxiety for this very reason. However, anxiety can become overwhelming and we can become anxious about being anxious. And this is when anxiety may impact on our ability to do our jobs, it may impact on our relationships, it may start to impact on other day-to-day activities. And in extreme cases, we may not even want to leave the house. When this happens, we need to understand how anxiety has evolved. We need to understand the fight and flight response. So just the same as all mammals, humans also have evolved to help us protect ourselves from threats. The threat may be related to something that is happening in the present world that we're living in, or it could relate to how we expect or anticipate something will turn out in the future. When we perceive there is a threat, our fight and flight response is triggered in our brain and certain hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol are released. This makes us more alert and hyper vigilant. Our heart rate increases. We speed up our breathing, we breathe higher up in our chests and we send blood rushing to our limbs to prepare us to run away and escape from the fear. Now, this is totally natural, and this fight and flight response has ensured our species have survived over 200,000 years. It all makes sense when we were living in tribes and we were hunter-gatherers and we had to survive vicious animals. We all wanted to be super alert should a tiger want to, have us for dinner. It doesn't always serve us so well when we are safe on the sofa and in our own houses. Now, this is because our expectations about the event we perceive as threatening may be based on our own lived experience, Alternatively, something we have seen or heard or been told or even imagined. So every time we sit down to watch the news, we may be triggered by our anxiety. Now, if we look at animals in the wild, they too have a fight and flight response and will instinctively run away from danger. When the danger has passed, though, they go back to grazing. Us humans, on the other hand, we replay the event over and over in our minds. Our thoughts and emotions take over, and we want to avoid that same threat at all costs. So if one person has let us down, we can overthink the event and start believing that everyone will let us down. We avoid being in the same situation, and this is why it's harder for us to feel safe again. Now, you can think of our fight and flight response a bit like a smoke alarm. It is a warning system that something or someone may be threatening us. Some smoke alarms are more sensitive than others and will notify us when we have just burnt the toast. Others need a bigger fire to fight. Sometimes a change, including a rational and positive one, can be perceived as a threat, and we may overreact to stresses that are not life-threatening, such as traffic jams, starting a new job, work pressures, or even family difficulties. When we avoid situations, we can then become anxious by everyday events such as walking into a crowded shopping centre or restaurant. We may become anxious of confined spaces such as a lift or even a car. We may become anxious about spiders or blood or just people in general. And this results in us being unable to attend any social events. So this is when our anxiety is no longer helpful and it begins to have a major impact on our lives. Our anxiety is usually triggered by a place or situation, and our thoughts, feelings, and behaviours tend to interact together and create this physical sensation, these physical symptoms such as a rapid heartbeat, nausea, stomach cramps, sweating, trembling, overheating. There's a long list of symptoms, and I cover that elsewhere. These thoughts and feelings and symptoms are usually really unpleasant experiences, so we try and take back an element of control by avoiding the situation or event that caused us to feel threatened, or we repeat rituals to help us cope and feel more in control. And we may find ourselves engaging in safety-seeking behaviours, such as not leaving the house if we're anxious in social situations, or not opening our post or checking our emails if we're anxious about our finances. Now, these behaviours, these avoidant behaviours, may create a short-term reduction in anxiety as we don't need to address or worry about the underlying issue. But by continuing to avoid the fear, we will maintain or even exacerbate the problem in the long term. So these coping behaviours can also stop us from having the opportunity to see if we can cope without them. Alternatively, we may try and numb the fear or feeling by turning to alcohol, drugs, shopping, video games, gambling, social media, work, sex, or food, anything that we use as a crutch. Again, this may reduce the anxiety temporarily, but if we teach ourselves to rely on them to block out what we are really feeling, then they can create even more anxiety in the long term. These are all unhelpful strategies as they do not address the underlying issue of what is worrying us in the first place. Now, over time, repeated activation of the fight and flight response takes its toll on our bodies. Research suggests that chronic anxiety contributes to obesity, both through causing people to comfort eat more and by decreasing sleep and exercise. Elevated cortisol levels, which is triggered when we're anxious, also lead to an increased appetite to help us replenish the energy stores that our bodies believe are depleted because they've taken us into the fight and flight response. So according to research from the Harvard Medical School, adrenaline surges can damage blood vessels and arteries, increasing blood pressure and increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. So before I talk about the helpful strategies that we can use for anxiety relief, you may be wondering, who am I and how am I qualified to give you this advice? Well, my name is Jennifer Roblin. I'm an anxiety therapist and I'm the founder of Better Your Life. And I've helped hundreds and thousands of people take back control of their lives and overcome their anxiety. So let's jump back in. It is possible to learn techniques that relax the body and mind and invoke the rest and digest response. Now, this rest and digest response is the opposite to our fight and flight response. So you can do things like deep abdominal breathing. Place your hand on your tummy and really feel your breath going in and out of your tummy. This is the opposite of when we're anxious and we breathe up here in our chest. Focus on repeating mantras and soothing phrases such as I am calm, I am safe. Try visualising a tranquil scene, somewhere where you feel safe and comfortable. You can practice journaling and gratitude, or mindfulness and meditation, yoga and tai chi, even laughter. All these things help calm us. They send a message to our parasympathetic nervous system that we're safe. Exercise can also counteract the fight and flight response. Taking a brisk walk or a run in nature naturally deepens your breathing while helping you to relieve muscle tension. And being in nature can refocus your mind on the here and now, knowing that you're safe in this moment. You can try reaching out to a family member or trusted friend. Talking is a great way to distress, and hearing yourself say things out loud enables you to often see challenges with a completely new perspective. As crazy as this may sound, if you're in a heightened state of anxiety right now, you can learn to listen to what that anxiety is telling you. What's it trying to warn you about? Then make a conscious decision to either ignore it or listen to it. And while this doesn't happen overnight, it is possible for everyone to achieve this. Now, if you need further support with your mental health, a trained anxiety specialist can prescribe you with a personalised plan to understand the root cause of your anxiety, as well as help you develop coping strategies that are focused around your individual needs. Now, taking care of our mental health is an essential part of our overall well-being. If left unresolved, anxiety can spiral out of control and have a significant impact on our relationships, our work life or school life, our family life, every area of life. And it's my belief that no one needs to struggle with anxiety. We just need the tools and techniques to overcome it and to understand the root cause of it. So if you do want to take the next steps and have a happier life where your fears no longer hold you back, click on the link in the description and book a free call. There's no obligation, it's just a chat to see how I can help you. So if you have found this video helpful, then please like and subscribe and click on the notification button so you always know when a new video has been released. And until the next video, bye for now and take care. Thank you for watching.